In this video, we'll be taking a look at the selection tools in Cinema 4D. Let's create a sphere. Now this sphere is a parametric object. In order for us to use a selection tool on this sphere, we have to change this sphere to an editable object. So we come down here and click the make editable icon. Now this sphere is an editable sphere. Now we need to change the mode that we are in so that we can manipulate either the faces, the edge, or the points of this object. So we change to the polygon mode. Now you see the polygons are revealed to us. The polygons of this sphere are revealed to us. Now when we come to the left hand side, the first icon is where we have the selection tools. By default, we have the live selection. When you click and hold, it will reveal additional 3 selections: the rectangle selection, the lasso selection, and the polygon selection. There are also other selection tools under the select menu. So when you go to the menu bar and click select, it will list the other selection tools. You have the loop selection, rig selection, outline, fill selection, and so many selection options. Let's start with the live selection tool. With this tool, you can select the polygons of an object and you can do anything to them. Now let's say you want to select a different part of it. You select here, and then if you select here, this here will be deselected. In order to keep them selected, when you hold shift on your keyboard and click here, you see you add selections. And if you want to remove selections without removing all, instead of holding shift, you hold control on your keyboard, and then you can remove those selections, leaving the other selections intact. Now when you look at the selection tool, there's this circle, the white circle around it. That is the radius of the selection tool. Now you can decrease and increase it by coming into the attributes manager with the live selection selected. You have the size here. So when you change it, you get smaller size, and when you do it, you get smaller size. Now there is a shortcut so that you can actually see the sizes that you are changing to by middle clicking and holding. When you middle click on your mouse and hold it, then if you move right, the radius will be bigger. When you move left, the radius will be smaller. Same as moving up and down. Up, radius bigger; down, radius smaller. Remember, you are still holding the middle mouse key, because if you don't hold it, it won't work. This works on the live selection too. So I can decrease the radius and then select this one. Okay, so that is the live selection too. Now let's move on to the rectangular selection. This one creates like a rectangular window like this, and it selects all those polygons that are fully inside a rectangle. So when you see that those polygons that are not fully inside, that has only part of it is not selected. Now if you want to select those parts, anything that a rectangular marks that you create touches, when it comes to the attributes manager, we have something we call the tolerant selection. When you have that selected, anywhere the marks that you create touch will be selected. Okay, that is it. And we have something that we call visible only. What this does is that, okay, right now let's select here. Because we don't have the visible only selected, this is not the only polygons you've selected. When you turn around, you see that it has also selected the down part here. Because remember, when we did the marks, the down part was also part of it, but because it's at the back of the object, we think it's not selected, but it is. When you turn around, you see that this is because we don't have the visible only selected. But when we select the visible only, it only selects the polygons that are visible to us, the user, that are visible in the viewport like this. So with this selected, you see that back here there's nothing selected because the option visible only is ticked here. Okay. Now let's go to the points mode so that we can demonstrate something. Now with this point mode, you can select using the live selection tool, you can select it and move it. But when you come to the attributes manager, there's a tab called soft selection. When you enable this soft selection, what it does is that you see only this is selected, only this this point is selected. But when you look at it, there's this gradient of orange or yellow spreading. This means that if I move this selection, but it will softly move all the points that are affected with the gradient. Okay, so this is what we call soft selection. If the soft selection is not enabled, you see that only this point that is selected is actually moving. But if I have the soft selection enabled, this is how it does. And you can change the strength and the radius of the soft selection to where it can cover. So right now, you see, this is the part that is being affected. You see the gradient of those orange gradients. So that is the soft selection in Cinema 4D. So let's go back to the polygon face. Okay. Now let's take a look at one common selection tools you will be using almost every time. That is the loop selection tool. So you go to select, another select, you have the loop selection tool. What the loop selection does is it selects the loop of the selection. So let's say I want to select this polygons. When I click it, it will select all the polygons in that loop. You see? You see? It loop selects it. I can do it another way around too, so that you see the loop selection actually selected like this. So that is it for the selection tools in Cinema 4D.